Welcome back to the Keep Going podcast with Vin Kennedy. I'm your host, Vin Kennedy. Today we have a special guest. This is Derek. Derek, you want to do a brief intro on yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Vince. So my name's Derek Morgan. I'm originally from East Brunswick, New Jersey, currently living in Hoboken. I've been involved with tech startups for the last 4 to 5 years, working on sales and marketing, really just an entrepreneur at heart, trying different businesses left and right over the last few years. Just passionate about fitness, running, lifting, helping other people as a certified personal trainer. Just passionate about the hybrid athlete space too, that's catching fire, and appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Yeah, of course. And I think the perfect place to start would be Team Vitalizer, if you want to kind of hop into that and what that entails.
Yeah, absolutely. So last September, I was really in a rut at work, just working with a tech startup, same thing every day. I needed something to give me another outlet of, or at least more energy. So I brought on a personal coach. We worked for 3 months to really find what that thing could be. Um, it should have been a little bit clear that it was fitness that I care so much about. So we did this whole process and narrowed it down of what I'm passionate about, what I can help other people with, and eventually what I can make money with. So it should have been easier to recognize, but out of that, the team vitalizer, and I chose the word vitalizer because the meaning of someone who imparts energy, spirit, life into other people. And that's really what I want to build with this community. And it's turned into that, which has been incredible. But started with the CBT aspect, helping people train online, giving the hybrid approach, helping people with body transformation, similar situations to what I went through during my body transformation and my confidence through that. So it's really focused on just getting like-minded people together, helping people achieve greater things through health and fitness.
Yeah. No, we definitely align on that. And I had a body transformation as well. And you touched on something there that's so key is like the confidence that comes with it that trickles into other areas of your life. Like I know what you do, what I do. Like I wish there was a way to bottle it, but there is no way to avoid the work for it. And it's
Yeah.
like the toughest part about it. But yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, the mental aspect of it all is so critical. And I'm sure that's something we're going to touch on more throughout the conversation because that's a critical piece to all of my clients that you'll go through 1 to 2 weeks of our training when I'm starting their program. By week 3 or 4, they're saying they feel like they crave the gym because their mental health, they feel more energy physically and mentally.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I say it all the time. It's like drugs. Like it's
Yeah,
like good drugs. For sure.
absolutely.
I'd be curious to ask because it's a question that I battle in my own head where like the glaring thing for both of us is fitness. Like it lights us both on fire. And there's just no way around it. But I'm curious because I look at friends that kind of have this like I don't even want to say balance with it, but they have like a workflow outside of it. And I sometimes sit there and I'm like, do I have to make this my thing? You know what I mean? Like, can I keep work and the thing that lights me on fire separate? I cannot. I've learned that the hard way. But I always kind of battle with that because it's like it's mingling those two worlds, and I'm curious your take on it.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I'm working to get to the point where I want this to be my work, and it's what fuels me. It's what lights me up, like you said, and seeing the impact that it has on other people, giving them the opportunity to go through a transformation, get a confidence, go through mental barriers that they set for themselves. That's what lights me up too, is from the other aspect. And um, I think it is a good balance to have if you are prioritizing fitness, health, and wellness. And most people will be that way, where you need another outlet or you just use that in one case to kind of coexist and support the other areas of life. So it won't be like that for everyone. For me personally, I just know the impact that I think I can make and the community that we have here can make through it. So I want to just lean into that and make that my priority.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely want to get into more of the community as a whole, but I definitely want to touch on your transformation piece and kind of how you work through that and from, obviously where you started to where you are, if you kind of want to touch on some of the key points.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, it was a whole lifestyle change. I spent 3 years after freshman year. I transferred to Rowan University, went the whole fraternity route. I started partying, getting the late night junk food, drinking 2, 3 nights a week, and then waking up, getting greasy breakfast. You wake up, you have the bacon, egg, and cheeses, and so on. But you just form terrible habits. And it was 2, 3 years after I was at the time in the best shape of my life playing college soccer, where I was having 5 a.m., 6 a.m. workouts. I had 3 o'clock practice. We had games Saturdays. It was very little downtime, and it was just the best shape I was ever in. And 2, 3 years later, I got home from school going into the summer. I looked in the mirror and I was just like, look at yourself. And the summer was coming up. We were going down the shore, just ashamed to see myself and compared to what I looked like or and what I felt like 2, 3 years earlier to even like take off my shirt at the beach. So it was there was little to no confidence. There was little energy. So I always lifted. I always loved the feeling and what it did for me. But there was no consistency with diet, with cardio. And then so it took that real hard look in the mirror like that summer getting out of school senior year. I was staring at myself till I felt like I'd have to commit to this. And from then it just kind of fell into place, getting the diet habits, making life choices that play long term and thinking about it. So from that point on, the commitment part, being part of a health oriented family, like sisters were athletes, my parents are always health conscious. That was the easy part, but getting myself to that point to look in the mirror and commit to it was what took 2, 3 years. So then, yeah, after over the last 2, 3 years, it's been a priority and just dialed back on junk food, dialed back on the alcohol, and it's really just been beneficial physically and mentally in a great place right now.
Yeah, no, I definitely know what you mean. I mean, people think I'm like good at running. I was really good at drinking, like really good at it. As
Yeah.
as bad as that sounds. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. But was there, so it was just one day you looked in the mirror and you're like, hey, I need to make a change, or was there like a specific moment you remember?
So it was a gradual buildup, just like waking up hungover. It's not fun. And so towards the end of school, junior year, but was by far the worst when I started to really focus on that. And um, yeah, just there wasn't an exact moment. On that exact moment was looking in the mirror going into the summer where I forced myself to make the change. But leading up to it, it was constantly waking up, just feeling sluggish, not really wanting to go to the gym. I would force myself to go lift and just get into it because that was the nature of my background, being in sports, being an athlete. So I knew I had to do it. There was no performance aspect to it. There was no reason other than just to kind of stay in shape.
And I'd be curious to hear your relationship with like alcohol today. Like, do you still drink occasionally?
Yeah, so I mean, I've dialed it back tremendously over the last year or so, maybe even 2 years. So again, college partying, drinking 3 nights a week, maybe more. And then the summers down the shore, it's every weekend. But over the last year, I'd say I've understood the downside that comes with it, the hangovers, the wasted days, recovering, the toll on the mental health, the stress and anxiety that it induces. Um, like I'll never personally tell someone to stop drinking, whether it's like friends or clients, but for me personally, I just speak through the benefits that I've gotten, the clarity I've gotten from it, the physical benefits of it. Just you feel so much better and more focused, higher performing at work. So I will enjoy like a beverage or two on special occasions or go out with some friends if that's what is happening on the weekends. But again, it's all about balance and finding what works for you. And that's the route I've taken.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's so cool. And I'm someone that like I'm sure I could find a balance with it now. I found a balance with it like towards the end of my, you could say like drinking career. But
Hmm.
I'm someone that's completely cut it out. And I would argue that someone like yourself actually has a better grip on it, right? Like if I have to completely stay away from this thing, like how much control do I have over this thing, or does it have control over me? And complete transparency, me and Jen saw you obviously, what was it like last weekend or 2 weekends ago? I don't even know the
Yeah.
bar. I'm sure you know it. Um,
Oh, Black Bear.
yeah. And I was sitting there, I was like, that's so cool. Like, and I think it's awesome. Like you're able to go out and socialize in that area, in that arena, and you feel comfortable enough to do so, drinking or not drinking, regardless. Like, because Jen was like, "You think he drinks?" I was like, "If he does, very little." So it was funny that we had that
Yep.
conversation,
Spot
and
on.
she kind of was like, "It's funny, like you can't do that." She said that to me, and I was like, "You're right. Like, I don't put myself in those environments anymore." So honestly, like that's tip my cap to you. Like, I think that's really cool, and like more people would benefit from it in that sense, rather than like you got to cut this thing off cold turkey.
Yeah. No, I think it's definitely an easy way to go about it. And if you're clear about intentions, people will support that. So like at Black Bear specifically, I didn't have a drink. I stayed there for an hour and a half just hanging out. And then later that day we went and I had a few drinks, but nothing over the top because I knew the next day I wanted to wake up. I wanted to get things done. I wanted to do my nice 10 miler along the Hudson and not feel horrible while I'm doing it. So again, everything I think for me in moderation is good. And you just have to find that right level for you. If you want to go cold turkey, you can go for it. But yeah, it's definitely a good balance that I found with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you touched on something there too, like the hangovers and same with the junk food. Like if you binge eat, like you kind of like
Oh,
it's almost like resetting, right? Like I feel like I used to drink and not feel normal until Wednesday, and now you just have if you don't if you know or you're moderate with these things, you could kind of just you're smooth sailing, and it's not always progress as far as like extreme progress, but you're always moving in the right direction.
yeah, absolutely. And so that's one thing with especially with junk food is I have a sweet tooth. So if I do tend to go back to it, I have like a family party or a holiday, I will have that bite and then it turns into a binge. So it's good to have it in moderation from time to time. And that's one thing that a lot of dietitians also recommend is like if you know you're going out to a big dinner at night. Some people save all their calories for the dinner. They start to eat that first bite or two, and then they go all in and they overeat or um, they just indulge way too much. So if you still keep that balance early on and kind of feed it a little bit, you won't have that initial craving when you go back.
Yeah, that is something that like just hits so home is the binge eating and then even like over restricting yourself, like where it's like,
Yeah,
all right, I'm
yeah,
gonna be perfect for 2 weeks, and then I'm gonna eat a 10,000 calorie day, and then I'll go right back to perfection. And it's just not a way to
yeah,
live life. And you're so right. And I know so many friends that deal with it as well. And it's often too the people that are like shredded like yourself, where it's like if you have a bite of that thing, you could easily fall off the well, like the
yeah,
wagon, but you know how to get right back on, and that's the difference.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I'd be curious. I want to go back to the run group for sure, just because I know obviously being in the environment. I know what you guys offer, and just vibes are great. And I like your group because it's a young core of people doing all different types of events all over the map. Like my little sister goes, our friend Brendan goes. He just ran his first marathon, and then you have guys like yourself, dudes like Matt that are going to do Last Man Standing, have done Ironman. So I'm curious to hear like your take on the group as a whole.
Yeah. I mean, so the name Vitalizer and all the group that's come out of it represents that to you, like the energy that's there, the willingness to support each other and motivate each other. So the run club, for the example of the shakeout run and the marathon in Jersey City, the energy level that was there and the type of people that are around the group, it's infectious. So it's just a good vibe type of community that's everyone is so motivated. They have their own races, they're signing up for things, they're pushing each other. I leave every run fulfilled and like high energy. I want to sign up for another race because I'm just around that type of people. And that's the whole purpose of why I initially wanted to start something like this, is to put myself in that situation where I'm surrounded by people that force me to, or not force me to, and motivate me to sign up for things I would be terrified of last year. So, and they make it seem so easy. So, like meeting, like you said, Matt has the Ironman. We have a group of people running an Ironman next year. The marathoners, these impossible races that I would have signed up for. It makes it feel achievable because you're surrounding yourself by that. And just an example of the type of people that we have in the group is we just did announce a relationship with St. Jude. So we're going to host runs, we're going to host community workouts, and run marathons, get bibs with them, and so on. So we launched a fundraising page. And within 1 hour of posting it in our group chat, which now has 130 people that are all like this, we raised over $500 in 1 hour. And 4 days later, today, we have about 800, I think, raised. And this is just a pop-up 5K that we're running with them tomorrow. They're going to come talk about their mission. But that's the type of people that I explained it to St. Jude the other day as killers who care. So it's like savages, and they all take on these accomplishments, but they do it in a way that they want to support the community and give back at the same time. It's just amazing.
It's so cool, and I love being a part of it. Obviously, I can't get up there as often as I would like to, but I love that my sister goes, and that obviously, like, it's infectious, and it's helping. And I think that's the coolest part about it, though, is like St. Jude stuff, and just the overall care. I would argue that there was more energy on the sidelines, people cheering for the runners, than the runners themselves. And I think that's like the coolest stuff, where like you could kind of like take yourself out of it and just make it about the other people,
Yeah.
and that's awesome.
Oh, that's what it's all about. And just having a space for all these like-minded people to come together. There wasn't really anything like that before we started on the Saturdays. So now I wake up, it's like Christmas Day every Saturday, and go hang out with this group of people. We have 30 to 40 people minimum at every run. And yeah, that's that marathon group. I was running the half marathon. I couldn't wait to finish to be a part of the sideline because just the confetti going, the music going. It was such a unique event that took place, and the energy in that section of the race was by far the at the highest compared to the rest of the course for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if you want to kind of speak about a couple of events, because I'm sure we'll clip this and we could post about it, before we get into a couple other topics, I think this would be like the perfect opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I mean every Saturday we'll be out at the pier. So we are starting because we are focused on hybrid athletics as well. The group Vitalizer promotes strength training and endurance training for physical and mental health. So we do mix in addition to the run club, we'll have high rocks workouts. So our first one is going to be on May 19th, Sunday in Fairfield at the core training. So that'll be another good event. And then every Saturday. So this coming Saturday, May 5th. I don't know if this is this going to be out by then. We could clip this.
Might not be. Yeah. I don't know.
No. So I'll go with the week after. So Saturday, May 11th, we have a run around Hoboken Saturday at 9 a.m. at the gazebo at Pier A. We'll have O Bagel and New Balance. We'll have shoe demos. We'll have some giveaways, and then have some bagels and cream cheese and butter. So it'll be a good morning there. And then the following week, we are actually on the 18th. We're going to end at Boomerang Bites in Hoboken for that run. So we'll spend the morning there as well with coffee, some snacks, and some breakfast.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great, man. And I'd be curious, like, how did the linking with brands and how did all of that go? And is that so obviously the community aspect of it lights you on fire, but having the background kind of in sales and being in that marketing role, have you been able to like tie those two things together?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's why, for me personally, it's been a little bit easier to connect to these brands just because my experience is in that sales, marketing, partnerships type of outreach as well. So just finding the right contacts, giving them calls, sending emails, reaching out to the website, their Instagrams. It takes sometimes 6, 7 touch points, like a typical salesperson, trying to get involved with for a sale. So it takes some consistency and effort, but the brand aspect has been great. So the elements, the Bear Bell protein bars, and thank you for putting us in contact with them. So and that's another route that we've been getting referrals to, and connected that way. So just the community itself is attracting some interesting brands that want to be a part of it, and it's been great on both sides because of that.
Absolutely. And to kind of tie about tie a note, tie a ribbon on that one. What would you say overall like community does for you?
Yeah, I mean, community is for me, it's everything. Like the people surrounding by that, like I said in the beginning, that similar mindsets, the same purpose, the same goals, it really pushes and motivates me. And knowing that I can potentially make an impact on them by either signing up for different races or helping people as a trainer, it's that impact of the connections, the relationship. Like we're only here for so long, and the people are what make it special. So diving into community is like my big thing that I want to really make the most of over the rest of my life, really.
Yeah. And I can tell you that you are absolutely crushing that. I have, Brendan, obviously. Brendan reached out to me all the time, just randomly, be like, hey, I really appreciate you like put me in touch with them. And I'm like, it's
That's
nothing to do with
awesome.
me anymore. Like, yeah, it's you guys. I was like, it's the environment. But it really is. It's
Yeah,
crucial what community could do. And another piece
yeah,
is my little sister, like even tomorrow morning, I'm like, oh, what are you doing tomorrow? And then I remembered, I was like, never mind, I know what you're doing. She's going to the run. She's like, yeah, we're gonna go do something with my nephew, but she's like, I just want to go to that run first. And it's cool that like she's prioritizing
awesome.
that and the community is there for her. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And thank you for putting us in touch with everyone that you have, because it's just adding to the energy, adding to the group. And I think it's only going to get better as it gets warmer out and more people are active. So I'm excited to see where it's all going.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of community and like impact, I'm curious who has the biggest impact on you?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest impact per se, my dad, where he's and my mom as well. She had a huge impact. They were both there for everything, supporting me from soccer growing up to school to just everything. So, but growing up, my dad was also my soccer coach for over 15 years, and he just showed me the way to how to act, how to communicate, how to like live with values, and how to have that work ethic while supporting the people around you. And that's something I always try to emulate, and just be supportive of everyone around you, act in the right way, and do everything out of the kindness of your heart. So that's what the one person that I would say I just try to really follow. And one example is like, if you are out and he sees something you're either wearing or you did something that he likes, he'll just go over and say it to you, and he'll compliment you. And it could turn into a 10, 15 minute conversation where my family's like, come on, he's talking again. But that's something that the world needs more of. Like that positivity, just complimenting someone can, I'd say, make someone's day, or it turns into a meaningful conversation. So that's something that also just his personality, his values, I try to it really had a big impact on me growing up.
Yeah, that's awesome. And even that example, like, because we could live such almost like routine lives and stuff like that just breaks you out of routine and makes you like it can make an ordinary day special.
Yeah. And you meet plenty of new people, and it grows the community even more. So that just going out of your way to say something nice, make someone smile, changes the projection of both of your lives.
Yeah, absolutely. And I ask everybody, but I'm curious, like, what keeps you going, like, deep in a marathon, like in the Philly Marathon? I know, those last few miles are not always the most fun. Like,
Yeah.
what's something you say to yourself, or what's something that you kind of like tap into mentally?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's my family. It's something that, and again, like the people, I'm energized by the people around me and want to make them proud. And so, like the Philly Marathon, I was dead last 3, 4 miles. My it felt like I was dragging my feet locked in, and it was starting to get really hot. But knowing my parents, my family, people, my friends that were watching, it's like knowing they were at the end and wanting to get there to see them and make them proud, and knowing that also the people that I could potentially impact by finishing this run, and kind of either whether it's motivating them or giving them a reason to start running or something like that. That's what drives me. It's just like the people around me and wanting to uh, consistently make them proud and happy to be around me as well.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I'm curious, like, what kind of big events or any future events do you have coming up for yourself?
Yeah, so I'm likely signing up for that sub 3 marathon attempt at CIM, and hopefully I'll see you there.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that that's what's next for you?
I think so. Other than we have that 50 miler, and then High Rocks June 1 is what's coming up next.
Okay, awesome. And just because personally, like I was kind of terrified of the idea of running a sub three. I'm curious, like, what's your mindset revolving around the idea of it,
Of running?
of running like the sub three? Yeah.
Oh yes. I mean, it's pretty scary to consistently hold that sub, what is it, sub 650 pace or 650 around there. It's a little scary, but I think with the support system that I can create between runners like yourself, hiring my run coach Kat and working with her again and I've had an issue with my body and my lower back and my feet going numb that I'm still working through. So it is scary, but I think it's really just setting up the right systems in place that you can um, achieve it. And how one thing that I want to call out is because you had on Matt Talea, his post said you didn't fail, it's just your first attempt. So that's how I've kind of been looking at things from like, and it's just stuck with me. But in the end, I want it. Like I want to get sub 3. So I will work from May until December for that race to get there. So it's really just all about the support system.
Yeah, absolutely. I just had a conversation with I know you're familiar with Dan as well, yesterday, and it's just like you just nailed it, Matt nailed it. Like it's all a rough draft. So even when you go sub three, you're gonna go a faster marathon the next time. So it's like
Yeah.
you can't, if you go 301, if you go 258, like it's just the new standard. You're always gonna go faster and better. We're obviously very consistent with this and in it for the long game. So when you have that mindset, you can't really fail.
Oh, exactly. And it's so one thing I always tell my clients, and because I walk through them, uh, I'll program them for the week. We'll do a review at the end of the week. We'll say, what are your wins and what are your lessons? Like we won't say losses. It's wins and lessons. So you figure out what you did wrong. The next week, you double down on improving that and just doubling down on what worked.
Yeah. No, it's crucial. And I really appreciate the time, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it as well.